He grew up in a small suburb with zero finance connections, started college wanting to become a lawyer, and had no idea what investment banking even was. Then COVID hit, forcing him to rethink everything. From blind applying to internships, switching majors, teaching himself valuation, and grinding through hundreds of applications and dozens of interviews, he rebuilt his entire career from scratch. And today, he's stepping into one of the top M&A teams in the country. This is his story.
All right, Dylan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Patrick.
So it'd be great if you could give the listeners kind of short summary bio, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dylan West, born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Pretty much been there my whole life. I did my undergrad at a small private school called St. Norbert College in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area, where I majored in economics. Right after graduation, did a small stint as a financial analyst at a tech company. Figured out it wasn't for me, and then left to a small valuation and M&A advisory firm that was also in the suburbs of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I've been there ever since. So that's coming up in a few days. That'll be 3 years there. It's been a great experience, but actually, as of September of this year, I accepted an offer to join Harris Williams on their M&A team as an associate on the industrials team. Figured it was time for a change to kind of step it up and go to the big leagues, if you will, and take a risk. So that starts in early next year, and I'm really excited for it. And yeah, couldn't have done it without the help of Wall Street Oasis, that's for sure.
I appreciate it, man. Yes, let's just start back at school. Like when you were going to undergrad, did you know finances? I'm going to finance. I'm going to become going to valuations or whatnot. Tell me a little bit about like that thought process when you were going to school.
Yeah,
this was 2018, so this was before COVID hit.
Yeah, I know. Back when school was normal.
Yeah.
So, I actually started off in college wanted to be a lawyer, mm-hmm. and then about midway through, once COVID struck, gave me a lot of time to kind of rethink where I was going in life and what I actually wanted to do, and really decided that law wasn't the path I wanted to pursue anymore. Mm-hmm. I'd been taking economics classes, over those 2 years as well. So it kind of just made sense. I really enjoyed it. I found it very interesting, and I already had the credit, so I figured might as well just roll with that. But I really didn't know much about the finance world other than the stock market. I started getting into investing, which I think that's kind of where my love for finance began. But yeah, I didn't know what investment banking was until senior year of college.
Okay, so you're at school, you're realizing econ probably is more interesting to you, finance potentially. So what did you know then COVID hits mid sophomore year? Or was it?
Yeah, second semester sophomore year.
And so what happens in terms of just like everyone leaves campus, obviously, what's going through your mind? Like, had you flipped already? Like econ was the thing at this point, or was it like you're still figuring it out?
I think there was a small buffer period of me figuring it out. I definitely the semester after that. So like my first semester of junior year, as mm-hmm. Having meetings with my advisor and all that. So I'd say probably by midway through that semester, I'd pretty much figured out that, okay, yeah, let's transition here.
And so you're at a small non-target school. You're 3-6 kind of going into this, but like banking wasn't even on the radar at this point, you said, right?
No, not at all.
So you were just like, hey, let me get a decent job. You ended up at this, what is it, YMI Solutions?
YMY, yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
So I was just blind firing on LinkedIn and Indeed and all of that. Pretty much any type of finance internship, and by the grace of God, these guys gave me a chance. Yeah, that was a great internship. I don't think the company's really around anymore. It's more of a startup. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
you were there for even 8 months. You kind of kept doing it, even though you went. I guess COVID was still a thing at this point.
Yeah, so I was just doing part-time work for them online. Yeah, during my first semester of senior year.
Yeah, so you're basically let's go with senior year. You're applying like crazy. Second semester. Is it like one and done? You get an interview, you finally get an interview and you land it? Or was it like 5 interviews, 10 interviews? What did the numbers look like?
At least 10 companies that I interviewed with, and then made it to various rounds of each. After the dust settled, I had 3 offers lined up.
Nice.
And I basically kind of just went with the one that was offered the most money.
Are you still applying like crazy as soon as you quit, or what's the process there? Are you fully off for 2 months?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I started applying like crazy right away. I think it took about, I want to say maybe a month and a half until I started the interview process with Cambridge. Because that was about a month and a half in, and then got the job, and then started in November. So 2 full months of unemployment, but like only a month and a half without a role landed.
When do you decide it's time to go to Academy? When do you even hear about banking and think, hey, I'm going to try to make this transition?
And so, I think I actually looked into the Academy kind of spring of 24, but at that point, I felt like I didn't really have the experience, or honestly, really the confidence in myself to start doing all the work required to break into a bigger investment bank. I felt like it was the right time to kind of just take the risk, take the leap, and try to set myself up for, the rest of my life. It's all I've ever heard about banking, and from all the forums, it might be hell for 2 years or however long you do it, but the payoffs, from what I gathered, seem to be worth it at the end of the day. No matter what people said about it, they said that grind, that trial by fire, and at the end of the day is worth it. So decided to pursue it.
Yeah. And so once you joined us, I guess you decided, okay, I'm going to go for this. Parents retired. You're like, I'm on my own. I'm here. And so I guess maybe it's a little bit of like just in terms of your thought processes of like, I could keep staying at this small business, get promoted, and potentially like take it over, or, and it sounds like you're getting a good diversity of experience, or I could go to like a larger business doing purely IB. Was it something where like you got a taste of IB and you're like, hey, I really want that? And was it like more like that instead of just the real estate,
Yeah, no, I really did fall in love with investment banking, at least the M&A side of it. There's really never a dull moment. That's what I love about the job so much, is that every day is different. And really just taking these companies apart and learning every single aspect about them it's just so interesting to me.
Got it. Okay. So tell me like the timeline. So you kind of join us, I think it was, I have here February, right? Or you're in the March cohort. And talk to me a little bit about like how things progress.
So the first, month was definitely all just clean up, like the resume review, the LinkedIn review and all that. Just kind of tightening up, what to say, getting all my cold networking prompts and all that set up. And then once, that was about a month. And then once I had all that set up, then it was kind of just, all right, time to go to war here and start using all that. And just, every day, that cold reach outs to as many people as possible on LinkedIn, applying to as many jobs as possible.
Talk to me about like, was it, did you have the LinkedIn automation running for a while, like a couple months, and it was like several thousand connection requests with like, 500 new connections, or was it less than that?
I think I was at around 300 connections when I started the Academy, and now I'm at like 750. I think I had actual conversations with about 50 or so people.
And so like in terms of, were you only applying to banking jobs? Were you like open to other types of things like private equity?
Pretty much. Every now and then I'd see something else like an adjacent, or something in debt capital markets, or
transaction advisory services,
even some valuation roles, even some PE roles, even though I knew that was probably not going to happen. But
so talk to me about like, how many interviews did you, so let's call it 200 apps, let's call it 50 one-on-one calls. How many actual like interviews did that lead to? Like 3 first rounds, 10 phone screens, 3 first rounds? What was that look like for you?
I would say something like 10. It was around 10 interview processes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, how far did you get in each of those? All super days, or like one super day? Yeah.
I've only done 2 super days. Obviously, one with Harris Williams. The other one was with Mesereau.
Mm-hmm.
Brown, Gibbon, Langs, and Piper Sandler made it to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all the other banks were first round, and some of the other smaller ones I got to a second round with.
Yeah. Did you feel like you had like a little bit of a ramp up? I saw you did mocks with us. This was back in, let's see, I'm pulling up the dates. You were doing this in like as pretty recently, early September. So like this happened, what, a couple months ago that you got the offer from Harris Williams?
Yeah. No, I remember September 16th was the super day in the last round. So yeah, I was definitely loading up some mocks before that to get prepared.
Do you feel like you were needing more help on the behavioral side or on the technical?
I think honestly the technical, especially just learning how to talk about my deals intelligently, and just talk about the technical side intelligently. I think actually doing it on a computer, I can think about it and actually do it, but that's one thing, and actually going to speak about it on the spot is that's a whole nother game. So just getting practice in on that really helped. If all the academy was just the one-on-one time, I mean that to me was the biggest help by far. Just being able to talk to people like you and people who have been in this industry for years, that was like a godsend. It's especially for my situation. I kind of got the feeling that the academy was geared more towards college students, which definitely makes sense. But getting that one-on-one time for my unique situation was a lifesaver.
Great. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess in terms of like looking back, your path wasn't an easy path. You worked for almost, over 3 years outside of undergrad before kind of getting that big break. Anything you would have done differently, or advice you give kind of to your younger self?
I don't know, like, cause it's, I mean, obviously realistically, I tell myself like, hey, you're going to end up in finance, pick finance as your major. And maybe go to a bigger school where you'd have better alumni network and probably better opportunities and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's hindsight. I feel like maybe I wouldn't have really learned that finance is what I wanted to do if I didn't, make a mistake, or not even a mistake really, or if I didn't just go down the path of the trial and error of law and exploring other options. Might not have really fallen in love with it like I did, because by the time I, took on the academy and decided I wanted to pursue investment banking, I knew 100% like this is what I want to do, and it's not just for the money, and it's actually because I truly enjoy this. And I don't, if I didn't make, the mistakes I did growing up, I don't think I would have learned that about myself.
You really, I think, are a good example of the fact that like you can actually still make it without the masters, without doing this, if you get into that right channel. So
right.
I hope people will take it to heart. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your story. Say hi, Ronan.
Hey,
My son's making an appearance in the pod, but really appreciate it. I think obviously stay in touch. Once you start, if you need any help with anything, of course, just let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me, Patrick. And yeah, this couldn't, like I said at the beginning of the call, could not have done without Wall Street Oasis. Yeah, it's absolutely been a blessing. And yeah, from all the courses and just all the one-on-one time and all the other support, yeah, it's really a great program, and yeah, life-changing, worth every penny.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Of course, just stay in touch, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, man. Talk soon. Cheers.
Take care, Patrick. Bye.
Bye.